Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We're gonna play chess while all these other boys are playing checkers.
Let's get as many points as we can. It all starts right here. You ready?
And the green flag is in the air. Here they come, storming to turn one. This is incredible!
Can he get it done? The grandstands are going wild.
Yeah, let's go, baby! Hell yeah, boys!
They're crushing mid-pack. Checkered flag is out.
What a finish, boys.
This is my moment now. I will be number one. They said this is how it's gonna be done. Set fire. Gonna end the game. Set fire. Gonna make a name. Set fire. Oh, you're but that's not gonna last, 'cause I deserve this.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, on this Sunday afternoon. Apologies there for a little bit of troubles with the intro video, but we are set to get things going underway here from Phoenix Raceway for race number 2 of the Sunday Night Showdown Wraps by JB Premier Series. In just a few moments, and we'll go down our starting grid here momentarily, but let's start off with introducing myself. I'm Oscar Jensen here in the booth Normally we have Jacob Zala, but I'm not sure if Jacob Zala will be able to join us. We will see if he's able to join us later. But right now it is just me with you guys, and it's gonna be a good one here tonight. 140 laps on the race here, which will be tough, demanding, and boy, a large field like this. 32 cars right now entered into this. These drivers are going to need to bring their absolute best if they want to come out here with a race win. Let's go ahead and go down our starting grid for tonight. Row number 1, Jordan Tross with the pole. Colby Jackson will be to his outside. Row 2, we go Justin Levine, Reese Schaefer. Row number 3, Curtis White, Bryce Shoemaker in the outside in that 54 machine. Then we go back to row number 4. We will see Joseph Kazi and Keegan Sabilo. Row number 5, Justin Day, Kyra Mullaney. Row 6, Derek Garrison and Christopher Hodges. Row 7, we head back and we will see Sheldon Atkins and Max Service. Row 8, Max Cost, Carson Neal. Carson Neal will be he will have an EOL to start this race off, so he will have to drop to the back. Nick Jabowski and Judson Curtis will make up row 9. Row 10, Jordan Berry, Trevor Brownlee. Row 11, we head back to Jim Foskett and Patrick Firmoil. Back behind them in row 12, we'll see Thomas Stokes and then Chuck Sweeting. Row 13, Reese Hamilton, Ian Blanchard. Row 14, Keith Shoemaker and Philip Brewer. Then rounding out the 2 rows back here, Chase Galvin and then Nick Osapek. And then in that final row, we will see Aaron Kay and Rob Hamp round out the field, making up tonight's 32 driver field. Stage 1 will be at the end of lap 35. Jordan Trask will lead him out into the restart zone as we work ourselves through 3 and 4. Let's get ready to take the green flag as we are off and racing here from Phoenix Raceway. Field gonna work themselves through 1 and 2. Oh, and already a caution back here. I believe we have, I can't actually quite tell who that is who won around. I think it is the 37 of Aaron Kay, and yes, it is Aaron Kay coming to a stop here. Then we also have Chase Gavin here in the 69. I believe he was the car that was up against that inside wall to bring out the first caution here on the night into turns 1 and 2. Majority of the guys up front, though, relatively remaining same. And now we did, I don't think I mentioned this, but Colby Jackson did start up there, but he did have an EOL as well. So he had to drop to the back. He will find himself in 27th position right now after gaining a few stops there on the initial first set of corners. But Colby Jackson and Carson Neal, those 2 drivers with the penalty systems, unfortunately gonna have to make up some ground here tonight. All right, let's go back and see what happened here into 1 and 2 and see how the 69 found himself around. All right, so we're gonna have to go a little bit back further here. Ooh, Rob Hamp in the 99 there, and Aaron Kay on the inside. Colby Jackson right there. Oh yeah, Aaron Kay getting in there a bit hot. Rob Hamp, unfortunately, nowhere for him to go. Thankfully, though, I think all these drivers should be okay and not have a whole lot of damage. Now, you know, you don't want to have to spin out and hurt those tires, especially at a place like this. But damage-wise, I think the majority of these guys should be fine. And as we run on board here with Aaron Kay, just gets in there a bit hot, tries to get it slowed down, but unfortunately it gets into Chase in the 69, and that'll bring out our first caution of the night here. Let's take a look at the weather as well real quick. Right now, temperatures out there is 90 degrees, track temp 103. We got winds to the south. Those are pretty high and strong winds, 14 miles an hour. Not as bad as, or I think this is a little bit worse than what we saw at Daytona, but a track like Phoenix here out in the desert, I mean, kind of expected, but you will still have to watch out for that and how it'll affect the race cars as we get set to take the green flag. Once again, we're off and racing. Three wide there on the bottom. That's Sheldon Atkins. Oh, the 81 going around. He's going to have some contact. The 44 of Philip Brewer involved in this one. Max Service, I believe, was the other driver involved in this one here that fully went around. Looks like he may have gotten tagged in the left rear. I was just going to say, I think we saw the 13 of Sheldon Atkins go down and make it 4 wide on entry. And this track, with this dog leg, it allows you to make those moves, but it really causes a whole lot of chaos as you go into one. I think that's kind of what we saw right there. All right, let's check this one out and see how this one started as they entered 1 and 2. Looked like pretty good, and then unfolded from there. So started up a little bit of ahead, actually, and we'll have to rewind this. So that's Sheldon Atkins in the 13 on the bottom. Justin Day in the 24, I believe, there in that Red Bull. And then you have the 7 of Jordan Berry as well. And Jetson Curtis, Jim Foskett, Philip Brewer there getting collected in it with nowhere for them to go. Yeah, looks like Jordan Berry might have just barely gotten into the back of Max there, which ultimately sent him around there. We'll get a good look at it here as we will ride on board with him. And just a little bit of a tap right there, and around he goes in front of a lot of the guys back here just having nowhere to go. That happening kind of in the middle of the pack. So really, unfortunately, like the Philip Brewer, Judson Curtis, those guys having nowhere for them to go and just trying to get on the brakes, but just not enough space up top there. They get it stopped, and doesn't look like there's a lot of damage, but they will have to have that be a factor in the rest of their races as we get set to take the green flag again. We're off into 1 and 2. Jordan Trask, Justin Levine leading the way. Reese Schaefer, Bryce Shoemaker behind as they fan out once again as they roll into 1 and 2. That's the 73 of Colby Jackson right there in the middle. 4 wide, almost back behind him, trying to get it sorted out. Keegan Sabilo in the 77 trying to work to the top side of Joseph Causey here into 3 and 4. Bryce Shoemaker right in front of them. He's going to work around the 17 of Schaefer. We got a battle for the race lead going on. Levine, Tross, those two side by side. Jordan on the bottom, Levine with that outside. Will he be able to make it stick with the momentum going to him here? Shoemaker now wants a piece of that as well. He's going to make it a three-way battle. Oh, Levine! Contact from Shoemaker into that outside wall just a bit. That's going to hurt Levine as we've got more troubles behind into one. This time it'll be Rob Hamp in the 99. He goes around and he'll face that outside wall. And boy, that looks like that might be an engine expired as well. So already a lot of issues here for some of these drivers. Trouble really seems to be in the entry of one, with guys trying to figure out how far they can push the braking points, but as well as trying to figure out what other people are wanting to do for corner entry. So this has really brought a lot of issues so far into this one, as we are only 12 laps in, 23 laps to go in this stage. So still a decent amount of laps left to get some of those stage points, but these early cautions are not allowing some of these guys outside the top 10, sitting around that 15th position, to really be able to make up some ground. All right, let's see what happened to Rob Hamp here. That's Ian Blanchard in the 74 up top. The 5 of Nick Osapek back behind him in the 35. I believe that's the 35. Or is it the 33? It might be the 33, actually. Yeah, that's the 33 of Patrick Firmoil. Very wide here into one, and it looks like, yeah, I wouldn't really say that's on too much of either one of those drivers, really. Again, just goes to show. You see Rob Hamp trying to come up to make the corner of Patrick Firmoil, although he has the 74 to his own side. And I think Rob was maybe expecting there to be a little bit more room to work with, but unfortunately that was not the case, and those two get collected, and Rob Hamp has a decent size hit to that outside wall. Patrick also getting a decent amount of damage on that right front as well. But the biggest loser in that is going to go to Rob Hamp in the 99. We'll see what Justin Levine can do here after getting into that outside wall. Just a few laps to go. We're green flag racing once again here. Jordan Trask leads them off in a way. Schaefer, Sabilo, Curtis White moving himself inside the top 5 here in that red and yellow 93 Chevy Camaro. Now going to get a peek from the inside. Oh boy, we got Sheldon Atkins around. Jordan Berry might have had a bit of a piece of that as well, but Sheldon Atkins will bring out the caution again here early on in this race. So Sheldon Atkins will come down pit road and come to the attention of his pit crew, and they will get some of this sorted out. Patrick Formoil there in that previous wreck, he also is going to be coming down pit road here in that 33. They'll need to spend some extended time on pit road getting some of that fixed. Sheldon Atkins will now roll into his box. All right, so let's take a look at this one, and I believe Jordan Berry may have gotten into the back of Atkins there. Oh no! Yeah, it looks like technically I would say yes, Jordan Berry did get into the back of Atkins, but that started with contact between the 54 and the 7. Bryce Shoemaker in the 54 up top there. Berry maybe getting a bit tight there, trying to give Atkins a bit more room as well, and unfortunately that was just not enough room for Jordan Berry to really be able to see where things were at. And yeah, unfortunately Atkins is going to go around here, but the good news is, again, not really, doesn't really look like there's a lot of damage to that 13. And actually, if we go back, it looks like this might have really initially started when the 54 of Shoemaker got into the outside wall right here. Yeah, right there you can see Shoemaker getting into that outside wall, which is really what stalled out his run and put these guys 3 wide back here. And then, yeah, just the contact between the 7 and the 13, and then the pile up behind the 71 of Thomas Stokes, almost getting some contact to go around, but he able to hang on to it, as that'll bring on another caution here. But we get set to take the green flag once again with 16 laps to go here in stage number 1. Trevor Brownlee in the, contact behind. We might have, what a save there out of Reese Hamilton in the 4 to hang on to that one. He got a little bit of contact there. Almost went around, but hung on to it. We'll have to go back and take a look at that here in a moment. But boy, what a heck of a save there by that 4 of Hamilton. They'll keep it going as the 22 of Kyra Mullaney, he will take a peek to the inside of Colby Jackson for what will be 7th position here. See some of these drivers using that dog leg as well, trying to fan out and cut the track a bit. Again, though, you got to be a little bit careful and cautious as you try and merge back on. We've already seen it be a little bit of an issue here tonight. This battle for this 10th position really heating up, and this is the area that you got to watch as we only have 13 laps left in this first stage. The top 10 paying these really important points. And you see the 71 there peeking to the inside of Shoemaker. Thomas Stokes in that red machine. That red Wendy's machine, he backed out of it just a bit to avoid getting any contact between him and the 54. But that was a close one, and you know, the aggressiveness for this top 10 position, I mean, it's just going to heat up. Kyra Mullaney, maybe just got in the wall just a bit there. It looked like coming off of 2. A little bit of a slow checkup there for him. Derek Garrison will move himself around that 22. But now Jordan Berry holds this last position, that number 10 position for these stage points. Thomas Stokes behind, trying to close in. Garrison, I know he wants some stage points as well. Ooh, that was close between Barry and Brownlee. Well, you can just see how difficult these hands on Jordan Berry. A little bit of a slide there, entering one. Tries to get back on the throttle, and you see how much he has to work that wheel. Gets into the outside wall just a bit to keep this thing going straight. Oh, Shoemaker. Hard hit there. Into 3 and 4. He goes around into that outside wall to 15. As well, getting a piece of this at Christopher Hodges. And actually, Shoemaker might have made contact right there as well with the 15, trying to get that thing back around and rotated. Oh boy, that's going to definitely be a hard one for Shoemaker. 74 for Ian Blanchard. Looks like he also gets a chunk of this as well. Trying to roll it back onto pit road. All right, we'll have to take a look and see what happened with Shoemaker, who is running with a decent position inside the top 10. He was going to collect some stage points here, but now it looks like he will probably not be able to get any here. It's Colby Jackson in front of him. We know how aggressive Colby Jackson can be, but it looks like, oh boy, a little bit of a hook there. Ooh, Kyra Mullaney also getting a big hit there in the 22 with nowhere for him to go. Right on board with Kyra here. You see those two make contact ahead. Colby Jackson, the 54, goes hard into that outside wall, bounces down, and Kyra saw it start to happen, but unfortunately nowhere for him to go there. Same can be said for the 15 of Christopher Hodges, who just barely gets tapped there in the right rear. Then, oh, a late hit there as well. Yeah, this is I don't really know if I don't think Shoemaker really, he definitely got up, definitely got a little hot in there. Not really overdrove too much, but definitely not on that yellow line all the way. And I think Colby Jackson kind of, Colby Jackson was already running his line, and those two got connected and just were unable to get off each other, and that's really what started that. The 5 of Nick Osipek coming to a stop there. He was able to get that car completely stopped and avoided that without any incident. As we get set to take the green flag once again here from Phoenix Raceway. Tross leads Sabilo second. Joseph Kazi third. Reese Schaefer, Curtis White, your top 5. Ooh. Thomas Stokes gets into one a bit hot there. Gets into the outside wall. Kazi going for his second. Oh, he gets a bit tight, has to lift off the throttle. So Bilo powers through, and oh, we got more going on back here into 3 and 4. Chuck Sweeting involved. I think Patrick Firmo might have been involved in this one again. Reese Hamilton looks like he may have slowed up. I'm not sure if he was involved, but he definitely slowed up a bit there. I would assume that this would more than likely end the stage here. I don't think we would be able to keep it going. That would probably make the most sense here. We'll see how this one plays out in just a second. So it looks like I'm assuming that this would probably be the end of the stage, but let's go back and take a look and see what happened here into 3 and 4. Ooh, Patrick, I'm not quite sure if he got help from behind or not. Yeah, boy, this is gonna be Christopher Hodges behind. No, it doesn't look like there was actually any contact from behind. Unfortunately, though, he did collect some other drivers. Again, the 75 of Chuck Sweeting getting involved. Aaron Kane, that 37, going spinning right in front of them as well. He gets a chunk of that, so 3 cars looks like they will get collected. Patrick Fermoil will be in at least a second involved wreck here tonight. As we get set to take the green flag here once again. And we might be able to actually have a 1-lap dash. We'll see what goes on here. As we get set to take the green flag, as we roll into the restart zone we go. Trasabilo, Causey, Schaefer, Colby Jackson, Levine, your top 6. Curtis White, Thomas Stokes, Brownlee, and Justin Day right now rounding out the top 10 as we battle it into 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Tross leads the group. Causey, Sabilo fight it out for second. Reese Schaefer, he wants to find a lane to work with as well. Well, a big move there to the inside, I believe. That's Ian Blanchard in the 74. He's currently 1 lap down. But made that move to the inside, and yes, it looks like we will get the end of the stage here. So a little lap finish or dash there to the finish of the first stage. Again, top 10 pulling off. Or top 10 getting paid for those stage points. Jordan Tross, he will collect the stage win. I'm going to pull up the stage results here in a second. This is your stage results here unofficially. We'll have to go back and verify that that was the case, although I believe this should be correct. And boy, you know, there's some good names up in a top 10 as we sit. The whole field, you're going to work themselves down onto pit road. Jordan Tross will be the one to lead them away. Colby Jackson, pit stall number 2. Then you have Levine right there in that third box. We'll see who wins the race off at pit road as, Reese Schaefer. Yeah, I believe that's Reese Schaefer in the 17. Yes, it is. He will be the first driver coming off of pit road. I'm going to guess that he did probably a 2-tire stop or just fuel only. Yeah, Reese Schaefer doing 2 tires there on that stop, so he will come out as the first driver on, or as the first driver coming off at pit road. So a 2-tire strategy call here by the 17. Not like that call. You know, maybe see how it works out for him with the cautions that we've had. It really hasn't allowed a big green flag run to play through yet. So why not, if you're Reese Schaefer, try something out here before it gets too late in this race, or play maybe a car like that. Reese Hamilton will be the race leader. He stayed out with a few others. Christopher Hodges, Jordan Berry, and Philip Brewer. Those top 4 all deciding to not come down pit road at the end of the stage here. So they will make up your top 4 positions. Reese Hamilton will lead them into the restart zone as we get set to go back green flag racing here. Ooh, a big move there to the inside for Jordan Tross. Ooh, almost contact there between him and Colby Jackson. That's going to get tight as they come up into a little bit of contact, leaning off of one another there. Reese Schaefer with those 2 tires trying to take advantage of it here. And Colby Jackson going a bit sideways there, trying to get it turned under. This is going to get tight. Colby Jackson going under the yellow line, trying to get that car figured out. You got cars on 4 fresh tires. That 2-tire call by Schaefer. Ooh, big bobble there by Jordan Tross, as well as Christopher Hodges. Christopher, one of those drivers who stayed out there. You see him getting swallowed up in the hornet's nest right now. They're continuing to work around him. Philip Brewer, though, he'll lead the way. Reese Hamilton trying to hang on to second. Schaefer, though, trying to make these 2 tires work as quickly as possible. He now gets a good run to the outside. Oh, contact between him and Philip. What a save there. All but sideways there, going into 3 and 4 for Philip Brewer. What a job to hang on to that. Reese was able to back it off just a bit and allow him to hang on to it. So also a great job there by Reese to realize what was going to go on there and back out of it to allow Brewer to hang on to that. No contact. Colby Jackson into the 71 of Thomas Stokes. Thomas Stokes will go around here and come to a stop down the back straightaway. Thomas waiting for everybody to get rolling. Shoemaker unfortunately had to come to a stop as he got boxed in there a bit. So I think that really, when we go back and look at it, I think we did see, I have noticed that Thomas has had a few moments. I mean, we saw it earlier going into 1 for him, but Thomas has had a little bit of an issue on these restarts with trying to get the car to rotate in. I heard that from some drivers before the race started when they were doing practicing, or when they were doing some of their practice laps, and it seems like these cars are a little bit sluggish slash kind of heavy in the front end, so trying to get them slowed up for the corner without pushing, especially in dirty air, is really being a big factor here tonight. And one thing that I will mention, if you are new to tuning in here for the Sunday Night Showdown Wraps by JB Premier Series, is these cars do have a little bit extra horsepower to some of these tracks, so that'll also play into a factor. But I mean, the biggest thing is going to be trying to manage the corner entries, especially when they feel really heavy and sluggish on the corner entry. And I think that's what we saw out of Thomas Stokes here, as we'll go back and take a look at it here. Yeah, you'll see him get into the outside wall just a bit here. Didn't really cost him too much momentum, but you see him come back in front of the 73 of Colby Jackson. And I would say Colby probably didn't have any idea that that 71 of Stokes was gonna be able to not only get it turned off the wall, but then come across that 73's nose. So I would say, Colby Jackson really no wrongdoing there. Just unfortunately, the 71 of Thomas Stokes maybe not getting the call that he was not fully clear when trying to get that car turned down to get a launch off the exit. You also see him peeking to the inside of the 4 of Reese Hamilton, so probably was thinking he could get the pass made on Hamilton, but unfortunately just was not able to have enough room to the bottom side as we get set to take the green flag once again. A little bit of a stack up there on that inside lane. Jordan Tross maybe having a little bit of front end damage there. He's now will slide in to position number 7 as he finds himself 3 wide in the middle. Sabilo on the bottom, Colby Jackson up top. Look at that shot there. Look at how they just fan out going into these turns. We'll see it again here with all these guys using that dog leg to their advantage. Joseph Kazi now wants his turn at getting the race lead on Philip Brewer, but Philip doing a great job at hanging on to it. Reese Schaefer falling back to 3rd. Again, with those 2 tires, he wants to try and make quick work of that, considering that he knows Kazi has those 4 fresh tires. Barry Sabilo going back at it for position number 7 and 8. Rob Hamp, Trevor Brownlee behind them. Justin Day, gets into the wall just a bit. The 15 and the 13, Sheldon Atkins in the 13, Christopher Hodges in the 15. Atkins going for that spin earlier, trying to make up some ground here. Up at the front, though, Philip Brewer able to hang on to it right now with that race lead. After staying out, he did pit on that caution that we had before the stage, so it's really only like a 2 to 3 lap tire difference out there on green flag laps, but doing a great job now that he has the clean air and putting a little bit of a distance between him and Joseph Kasi. A top 10 looks like they are pretty spread out as well. Trevor Brownlee maintains that 10th position. Sheldon Atkins trying to hang on to the guys back behind him who are battling it out. Nick Osipek right there in that number 5 Red Bull machine, having a great run right now. Justin Day, the other Red Bull machine, at 24. He looks to also follow his Red Bull companion there in front of him, and we've got a caution out on the track, and this time it looks like it's gonna be Nick Jabowski in the 82. Heavy damage there. Not sure if Thomas Stokes got a piece of that, but unfortunately for Nick, he will have to tow, and he will find himself with a decent hit there. Little bit of debris there as well on the bottom of the track, the racing surface there. So they will have to get that cleaned up under this caution. All right, well, let's see what happened to the 82 here. As they continue to work under caution here. The 71, Thomas Stokes, ooh, a little bit of contact there, and yep, that would definitely do a decent hit there by the 69 of Chase Gavin as well. But yeah, definitely some contact from Thomas Stokes to the 82 of Nick Jabowski. Decent hit there to Thomas Stokes as well. You see that back bumper sliding down the track, and that's a piece of debris that we saw earlier that they had to clean up under the caution here. So unfortunately for Thomas Stokes, he is going to have a rough one here tonight, and more issues for the driver of the 71 here in tonight's race. Philip Brewer, though, continuing to lead the way. He will lead this restart as we get set to take the green flag. Kazi to his outside. Schaefer, Colby Jackson right behind them. Jordan Truss, who led early on in this race, he finds himself back in row number 3. Ooh, big hit there between Truss and Colby Jackson. Leaning off each other once again. They get it collected together. Trevor Brownlee may have gotten into that outside wall behind them. Reese Hamilton in the 4, working himself up. Judson Curtis, Justin Day, these two drivers, 29-24, going at it back, a little bit further back. Curtis White all the way down beneath the dog leg. Enters a little bit lower here in 1 and 2. Got Derek Garrison to his outside. And that 11 Sim Fits machine. Carson Neal in front of them. The 67. Now Colby Jackson is always one to talk about here. We know how quick he can be. And right now he runs inside the top 10 right now, just outside the top 5 in 6th position. In that wide open network esports 73 machine, he wants to come out of here with a good night. And you know, it's always so fun to watch Colby as well. He really does moves that you probably won't see from anybody else, and sometimes it gets him in a little bit of trouble. Other times it really works out for him, and he can really put that car in a position that nobody else can do. And right now, I'm sure he wants to gain some of these spots in front of him, but you've got some really good drivers that he will need to work around as we look back for the battle for 10th through about 14th, 15th position. This battle has just not gone away quite yet between either one of these drivers. We've seen it change time and time again between who has to hold off, who has to defend, and right now, Chuck Sweeting, he has to defend off Derek Garrison there on the inside. Max Cost in the 63. He also wants a chunk of this battle as well. Nick Osipek, who we just talked about having a good night, he's back to 17th position, but still relatively having a great night there. And we will actually get another caution here as we got Aaron K around into 3 and into the entry of turn 3. So he will come to a stop against that outside wall. And unfortunately for Aaron K, the second time here tonight that he has found himself having troubles in this corner. We're almost halfway in this race and already seeing a lot of troubles here early on in this first section of the race. Had a lot of issues there in stage 1 in those first 35. Kind of settled down though after that for a bit, but again, another issue here. This time it's going to be Aaron K for the second time involved in a wreck tonight. Well, let's take a look at it here. The 22 of Kyra Mullaney, Thomas Stokes behind them. Ooh, looks like Aaron K may have came up just a bit, trying to side draft Kyra Mullaney, and those two will go, or those two will make the contact, which sends that 37 up into that outside wall just a bit. We'll take another look at it here. And just ever so slightly, a little bit of movement from the 37. And that was just enough to really, the right place at the right spot on the car and the racetrack to where it sent Aaron K around. Nothing over the top though, literally just moving up just maybe an inch or so, and that was just too much to ask for out of the 37. Again, he will now find himself going around the second time tonight as we get set to roll around here into 3 and 4 as we go into the restart zone. Causey will take the field to green here. Philip Brewer, I believe, came down to pit row that time by, or that caution. Oh, big movements back here. A little bit of a stack up. Thomas Stokes. Ooh, Nick Osipek. Oh, no. Reese Hamilton Jim Foskett. Oh, and just at the last second, the 88 of Keith Shoemaker. Nowhere for him to go. Nick Osipek, he'll get this car turned around. But more issues here on the restart, and there was a lot of stack up there towards the middle from about 15th to 20th position, which is where things kind of started to get a little bit crazy and chaotic. All right, let's go back and take a look at this one here. So the initial sort of movement here coming from Nick Osipek in the 5. You see the 24 in front of them. Justin Day having a little bit of movement as well, as he may have gotten loose, or was, yeah, it looks like the 24, Justin Day, got a little bit loose in front. Not really causing this one, but a little bit of attack from Reese Hamilton to the back of Nick Osipek sends Osipek sideways down the back straightaway. Right on board with the 47 of Jim Foskett, who got a good view from this one. A little bit of attack right there. Decent lick to the front end into that inside wall. Reese Hamilton towing pretty much right away. Nick Osipek again able to get that car rolling, but unfortunately it has some damage from it. And Keith Shoemaker right there actually really did a good job at narrowly avoiding that. Reduced the damage to pretty much nothing. Able to continue on and not have any real significant damage as we take the green flag once again. Keegan Sabilo with the move to the inside there. Bottom of the apron. Tree Schaefer in the middle there. 3 wide, Philip Brewer. Up top, he's got a 2-for-1 pass there into 1 and 2 after coming down pit road about 6 laps ago. And look at that power move to the outside for Philip. To the outside of Joseph Causey for the race lead. Keegan Sabilo as well in the inside lane. The 77 and the 44, they're going to split these guys. Jordan Tross right behind them as well. So Causey, Reese Schaefer, Sheldon Atkins, those 3 guys staying out, getting swallowed up by guys who came down pit road just a little bit ago, but now Sabilo, he's got Colby Jackson to hold off to. Almost had a chance of going for the race lead, losing that just a bit, falling back to 4th. Brownlee now working around Joseph Causey there for 5th. Jordan Truss, he wants to try and hunt down Philip Brewer here, who maybe got into that outside wall just a bit. Diving down to the inside, takes a peek, nothing there. He'll get able to settle that thing and fall back in line as Sabilo now will be in position to defend off Colby Jackson getting into that outside lane. Colby Jackson now will face pressure from the 57 of Trevor Brownlee here as we work through 3 and 4. Oh no! Brownlee, Colby Jackson. No caution. But boy, that killed both of Colby Jackson and Trevor Brownlee here. That engine has absolutely expired on that 57 after that hard hit to the outside wall. Colby Jackson's still trying to limp it around as well. But since they stayed straight, there was no caution coming out for it. Now the good pro to this as well is that the simulator does not have any sort of oil or liquids that will come out of these cars, so these drivers can continue to race on. But if you're the 75 or the 57 or the 73, that could be the nail in the coffin for the end of your night, as these two will both continue to try and work around the track before they have to absolutely come down pit road to fix those race cars. And yeah, you see Colby Jackson still limping this thing around here, actually keeping relatively decent speed. Kyra Mullaney will take a look to his inside. Brownlee a little bit further back. Looks like that thing may have stopped smoking. Unfortunately though for Colby Jackson, he is still smoking pretty decently. It's gone down a little bit, but Colby is still losing a lot of ground and a lot of time here. Justin Day picking to the outside here of Joseph Kazi. Kazi, last season's champion, wanting to come out of here with a good start to this one. Again, staying out. He's right now on 41 lap old tires. And you can definitely see it still holding pretty decent speed, but not able to stick the pass, or not able to hold off the guys that are coming around trying to make the passes. As you'll see, Carson Neal on the inside, he will now take that position away from him. Up at the front though, things relatively, for the most part, pretty calm and quiet. Philip Brewer has been able to pull away from Jordan Trost by about 3 to 4 tenths. And then back behind Trost, Zabilo about 2 seconds back. So these top two have kind of pulled away, doing their own thing. Sabilo, Curtis White separate a bit. Justin Day, Carson Neal, your top 6. Kazi, Schaefer, Judson Curtis, and then Chuck Sweeting, your top 10. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and try and step away quick to take our side-by-side commercial break here. We will come back if anything crazy happens. Right now, though, things pretty calm down for this restart, and Philip Brewer continue to lead the way here for the Sunday Night Showdowns Wraps by JB Premier Series. We'll be right back with you guys with more action here from Phoenix Raceway.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We're gonna play chess while all these other boys are playing checkers.
Let's get as many points as we can. It all starts right here. Be ready?
And the green flag is in the air. Here they come, storming to turn one. This is incredible!
Can he get it done? The grandstands are going wild.
They're crashing mid-pack. Checkered flag is out.
What a finish, boys.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, here to the Wraps by JB Premier Series Alive from Phoenix Raceway as we continue to work ourselves around here. To complete lap 92, Philip Brewer finds himself out front still. Jordan Tross trying to follow in the path behind. Then those who have continued to kind of just steadily pull away from Keegan Sabilo, Curtis White, Justin Day, your top five. Carson Neal, Joseph Kazi, Chuck Sweeting, Derek Garrison, Reese Schaefer, those two going at it for the 10th position. 8.5 seconds up back behind our race leader. And as we take a look here at our race recap so far, 93 laps completed, 11 cautions. So it's been a little up at the start of this thing. It's been a little chaotic, a little crazy. But now things kind of starting to settle into their own little respective sort of races that each one of these drivers is trying to deal with. 7 lead changes as well, which has really been proven to be so valuable. And you see why Philip Brewer wanted to make those moves to get back up towards the front. It's because he currently holds the most laps led as well as the fastest laps. So Philip knows the importance of getting that clean air and controlling the race and what it can do for him trying to win here tonight. Still a decent amount left of this race to go. Have the battle for 7th heating up. Trek Sweeting, ooh, slides up just a bit. Able to get that car to stay off of Joseph Kazi there. Kazi, though, able to power through the outside and take that spot away. Now Reese Schaefer, Derek Garrison, these two behind them, still trying to battle it out. Right now, Schaefer with a little bit of the advantage over Derek Garrison. And we talk about guys who took a little bit of a different strategy earlier. Remember Reese Schaefer, Joseph Kazi, these two have been out here the longest. Two of the drivers inside the top 10. Schaefer, Kazi both been out here for 60 laps so far. And actually you now see Kazi working himself on the pit road. Last week's winner at Daytona, Carson Neal, he will as well hit pit road. So the green flag pit stops sort of beginning. It's a little bit early, I think, for some of these other guys who have only been out here for half the distance. About 35 to 40 laps for a majority of the rest of the guys who have pitted a little bit sooner than the likes of Kazi and Schaefer, as well as Carson Neal. I believe also Sheldon Atkins is on that same strategy as well. So little bit of kind of a split here down the middle for some of the fields. Colby Jackson, who had that hard hit earlier, he's been able to get back out on track, get some of that fixed. He currently sits in 24th position, only one lap down. Right now, there's at least 16 cars on the lead lap. Nick Osapek being the last of those drivers. But right as we speak of that, you'll see Philip Brewer working around him. So now 15 cars will be on the lead lap. Last of them will be Keith Shoemaker now. Actually, as I say that, 14 on the lead lap. So a little bit of pit road picking up here as we're under 40 laps to go in this race. Derek Garrison will come off of pit road to complete his stop, but now Philip Brewer, he will come down pit road. Jordan Trask elects to stay out. Sabilo as well, he will stay out here. Curtis White staying out. So Philip will now stop and come into the attention of his pit crew. Jordan Trask still leading the way. Nick Osapek right there in that 5. He came down pit road a few laps ago. He's working to get back on the lead lap. Or I believe, or at least get one of his laps back. Still remaining 2 laps down. But here you see it, Philip Brewer, who came down as the race leader. He is now coming off of pit road, coming back up to speed. Jordan Trask still turning laps up at the front. We'll have to see where Philip plays out with Reese Schaefer and Joseph Kazi. Kazi looks like he'll actually be a little bit behind Philip, so Kazi not making up as much ground, even though he was a little bit further back behind, not able to make up all that distance that he lost staying out a little bit earlier. Jordan Tross hitting pit road here as well. This time by, and the gaggle of cars, new tires, older tires, everybody trying to work around one another back here. Oh, it sounds like there might be some issues here in the one. Oh, yes, there is. Jim Foskett in the 47. He goes around here in the 1 and 2, and that'll bring out our caution right in the middle of green flag pit stops. And boy, that is not what you want to have happen, as we only have 5 drivers on the lead lap. A lot of these guys, because of that, are going to get trapped a lap down. And they will need to take either the wave around or wait for another caution to get back on the lead lap. And these are the hard calls to make when you're racing out there, whether you have a crew chief or you are the driver and the crew chief. I mean, these are things that you know you have to kind of think about, but you also don't want to think too hard about, because you don't want to overextend your stay out on the racetrack and lose up on a lot of ground. And boy, this one is going to play out for Keegan Sabilo, Curtis White as well, Christopher Hodges, Thomas Stokes, and Ian Blanchard. Those drivers electing to run it long, and they are going to get the caution that they were probably hoping for here. All right, now we're going to go back and see what happened here to Jim Foskett. I heard it happening as we were on board with our race leader, Keegan Sabilo, although I wasn't quite sure what happened here. Oh, Keith Shoemaker in the 88, who came in there a bit hot, got into the 47 of Jim Foskett, and around goes Jim. Not even sure if really Keith got in there a bit too hot. I mean, I'll have to slow it down just a little bit. I think those two might have met in the middle more than anything. Unfortunately for Jim and Keith, both these drivers not having the night that they probably wanted to go their way. Keith, it looks like he is going to bring it back behind the wall, so that could be the end to his night here. Jim Foskett came down pit road, got some of that fixed. You see things kind of awkward out here, still trying to sort themselves out as a lot of these guys took that wave around. Curtis White, Thomas Stokes will be on that front row, as we're going to actually get another caution to extend it so that we don't have a little craziness going on back here with everybody trying to get cycled around. So we will get one more lap before we take the green flag. Again, the top five, electing to stay out the longest of the field pays off for them. They'll be sitting pretty for this restart. Curtis White, Thomas Stokes, Ian Blanchard, Keegan Sabilo, and Christopher Hodges, your top 5. Philip Brewer, Jordan Trask, Joseph Kazi, Justin Day, and then Justin Levine. So a good little section of J drivers back there, starting with Joseph Kazi, ending with Justin Levine, as we get set to take the green flag once again. We'll have 29 laps to go here from Phoenix Raceway. Curtis White gets on the loud pedal. He'll lead them to the start-finish line. Thomas Stokes with a little bit of a checkup, or issues getting going back there on that outside lane. He'll have to defend off Ian Blanchard, who moves up into second, trying to clear here through the center of 1 and 2, not quite able to do so. but still fighting it tough on that inside. We'll see if Philip Brewer can move himself through some of these guys and get up in front again. But he'll have some ground he needs to do on this restart. Everything trying to get fizzled out here once again. Looks like a majority of these guys are able to kind of get it single filed out. Derek Garrison there took a peek to the inside of Joseph Cossey as they entered 3 and 4. Not able to make it stick, but he's got a good exit. And now Foley able to take a look to the inside here. So Derek Garrison going for position number 8. Reese Schaefer, Justin Day behind them. Garrison, ooh, Garrison just a little bit too much on that yellow line, getting a bit below that apron. He went for a slide there, able to hang on to it, but boy, that car absolutely was a handful there, trying to get on the power to make the move on Joseph Cossey. Garrison losing that position to Reese Schaefer and possibly even Justin Day as well because of that little bit of a slip up. Curtis White, though, he wants to take the opportunity again with this importance of having the clean air, and he wants to start to try and pull away from Thomas Stokes, Keegan Sabilo, and Ian Blanchard behind him. And Thomas Stokes, I mean, he's had his fair share of having a rough night here tonight, but right now, within the last 30 laps, the driver of the 71 has been able to gather it up, keep himself out of trouble, been able to figure out these restarts a little bit better. We saw him really struggle there earlier on in tonight's race with trying not to overstep the corner entry boundary and wash up and either get into the wall or have to get out the throttle and lose a lot of position. And right now he's really figuring it out, closing on the gap of Curtis White for the top spot. Sabilo finds himself having to hang on for 3rd. He's got Ian Blanchard behind. Ooh, Ian looks like he may have lost the nose a bit there. Coming out of 4. Christopher Hodges closing down on Ian and Sabilo in front of him. So this race far from over, as we will now see 20 laps to go. And Curtis White, boy, he's got Thomas Stokes all over his back bumper here. Thomas searching high into 1 and 2, trying to get some high line momentum built up as we go through 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Will he be able to take a look here into 3 and 4? Yes, he will. Here comes the 71 of Thomas Stokes to the inside of Curtis White for the race lead. Not able to get the power fully down, lost a little bit there. Used the dog leg to try and keep it close, but Curtis White able to hang on for the moment. Thomas with a little bit of a higher entry. Curtis White, a little bit of a lower. the drive off and the momentum right now going to Thomas, but Curtis doing a good job at trying to take that line away. A little bit of a wash up there. He'll come back down to take out that clean air that Thomas had for just a moment. Now, if you're Thomas, you don't want to burn up your tires too much trying to find a way around White. You kind of want to allow White to maybe try and make a mistake. But you also don't have a lot of time left. These laps are clicking down. And before you know it, I mean, it's going to be harder and harder to try and make these tires last. They're already 15 laps into this cycle. And by the end of it, they'll be about 30 laps into it. So really, you got to be smart, and you got to really consider what move you're going to make and how you're going to be able to make a pass here for the race lead. As once again, Stokes will take another look to the inside of Curtis White here as we come off at 2, not able to get it closed down though. White holding strong for the top spot. Keegan Sobilo back there closing in just a little bit as well, as these two start to battle it out a little bit more and more. Sabilo closing in another little bit that last lap. It was 0.8 of a second, and now it's about 6 to 7 tenths. Thomas still trying to figure out his way around to White for the top spot. He just has not been quite able to make that move stick, and Sabilo maybe getting into that outside wall just a bit. That's going to cost him a bit of time. And again, we talk about dirty air so much, and it really looks like it's hurt Thomas that last lap. We go back as well to the battle for 6th and 7th position. Jordan Tross, Philip Brewer. Philip leading so much of this race, and now finds himself shuffled in the field just a bit and has not been able to make that ground up after getting trapped a lap down during that green flag set of pit stops. I don't know if you're the 44 Philip Brewer, you're just hoping to maybe see one more caution, which could potentially give you another shot at maybe making up some of that ground that you lost after having to get the wave around. Now the guys up front don't want to see a caution. These top three have pulled away. Sabilo now closing in again, all over the back bumper of Stokes for second. Ooh, a little bit of a block there from Stokes, took the front nose away from Sabilo. Top three, though, separate each by about a car length or a car length and a half. I think Sabilo definitely knows he may be a little bit quicker here. Again, though, having a little bit of the same issue that Stokes was having, trying to get to the outside. Oh no, Sabilo! Stokes, contact here down the back straightaway, and that'll bring out a caution here with just under 10 laps to go. And it looks like Sabilo, who was trying to get to the outside of Stokes there, unfortunately just did not have enough room there between those two. And I think Stokes may have tried to come up to defend that just a bit more than Sabilo. Probably, I don't think Sabilo probably came off the wall as much as Stokes probably came up, but we'll take a look at it here after these guys get this last pit stop kind of sorted out. Philip Brewer, one of those drivers who was probably hoping for a caution, he comes down pit road. He gets some tires on. Curtis White comes to a stop in his box. Jordan Tross will be right there as well. And as we come off at pit road, we will see who wins the race coming off of pit road. It's going to be tight, but it looks like it's going to go to Curtis White. Keegan Sabilo, the 15 to Christopher Hodges. Philip Brewer, he gains a little bit of track position as well. Rob Hamp, though, he elected to stay out for this one. And I wouldn't think that Rob Hamp would give up that. I think, unfortunately, though, this is going to be a lonely situation for that 99. Nobody else deciding that they were going to play any strategy card to stay out. We did see some 2 tires there, but, I mean, really, everybody coming down pit road there except for Rob Hamp, and Rob's going to have his hands full here on this restart. He's going to need to be absolutely perfect on this one when we get the green flag. Well, let's check out this incident here between Sabilo and Stokes. So Sabilo had been working, kind of chopping away at the 71 these past few laps. You'll see Sabilo get a good run to the high side here into 1 and 2. Just barely right there, gets to the outside of that 71, and oh boy, yeah, it looks like Stokes may have not gotten that call that the 77 to Sabilo was to his outside. Yeah, just barely able to get to the outside. I mean, especially at this angle, if you had a live spotter or just a spotter there in general, it was going to get pretty dicey to try and make that call. But we get the green flag in the air once again. Rob Hamp leads him off and away, but boy, those older tires getting a little bit... Oh, he's going to hang on to it, but we've got trouble further back. Nick Osipek around Thomas Stokes. He gets in this one as well. Osipek finds himself up against that outside wall. And Thomas Stokes, he was having a race kind of turn around for him. These last two have not gone his way, getting caught up there with Sabilo. And now this one is going to be a killer to his night, because I think he's already used his fast repair, and that looks like that engine has all but expired on that 71. All right, now we got to take a look back at this one as well. So we already know that these restarts were going to be a little bit crazy, and oh boy, that might be a penalty as well for the 71 of Thomas Stokes. I think he kind of realized that he wasn't quite past the start and finish line there, and then gets tagged by Sheldon Atkins there. The 75 getting involved in that as well. Nick Osipek actually not really up in front of that one, just unfortunately got tagged at the very last second trying to avoid it. You see by the 75 right there, and comes up in front of some of these. Ooh, Aaron Kay with a late wreck avoidance right there. Almost got into Nick Osipek. But Chuck Sweeting there getting a piece of that. Yeah, Chuck just having nowhere to go here, as it happened really directly in front of him. But yeah, really, I mean, look, if you look at it, it started with Thomas Stokes here in the 71. Sheldon Atkins getting into that 71 just a bit there. The 71 actually looks like he might have gone for a slide with that transition right here. We'll play it in slow-mo and Yeah, definitely a little bit of a kick up. That allowed Sheldon Atkins to get in the middle there, and yeah, just unfortunately not enough real estate for those drivers to work it out. And Kazi right there in the 18, unfortunately, just had no idea what was coming for him there. All right, well, we will get set to take the green flag here with just a handful of laps left. And before we end this one, just a reminder that we will have post-race coverage starting up here at the end of tonight's race. Once the checkered flag waves, we'll be able to start that up, and we'll be able to hear from some of these drivers. But right now, eyes focused on the 93 of Curtis White. Keegan Sabilo, your front row. Philip Brewer trying to get the race lead away. Rob Hamp still out on these older tires as we get green flag back in the air. With 2 laps to go, Curtis White with the restart. Philip Brewer with an even better start going down low. He tries to slide up. He'll try and take that lead position away, but Curtis White fights back on the inside. A little bit of contact there. 3 wide for the race lead. Keegan Sabilo up top. Philip Brewer on the inside, and boy, I think we're wrecking back here as well. Yes, we are. No caution though. Things still going green. White flag is out. Christopher Hodges, I think, is still in there. Yes, there's a little bit of an incident there further back, but Sabilo powering out front. Reese Schaefer right behind them in second. Philip Brewer trying to hang on to second, but through 3 and 4, Keegan Sabilo works his way across the start-finish line, and he will collect the race win here at Phoenix Raceway. After a crazy last 2 laps, Philip Brewer almost had a shot at that, but comes up just a bit shy, and he will have to settle for second position there. Reese Schaefer finishing in 3rd, Derek Garrison 5th, Curtis White in 4th. So after Curtis White led him to green, it's going to go to Keegan Sabilo in the 77. Sabilo gonna come around and continue his celebrations here on the front straightaway, and boy, we'll have to take a look at that last lap and see where everything sorted itself out to be, because there's at least a decent pile up there coming to the white into 3 and 4, then a little bit of an incident just past the start finish line once they took the white flag. iRacing, though, not throwing the caution for either one of those, and that allowed the race to continue on, and Keegan Sabilo finds himself collecting the race win here tonight in the 2nd race of the season for the Wraps by JB Premier Series. And we will give these guys a second to work themselves out of their race cars and get in to the booth. And then we'll also see Keegan Sabilo pull it into victory lane here. And once he climbs out, we will be able to hear from our race winner here tonight. But boy, what a crazy and chaotic race here. And as we give Keegan a second to get everything undone and into victory lane, we will take a look here at the race recap as we sit. Race winner coming out to be Keegan Sabilo. No overtime here tonight, although it was fairly close from getting that. 14 cautions, however, on the night for 43 laps, so field still trying to figure out how each one of these drivers races, and trying to figure out one another 13 lead changes though on the night. I mean, that's for a racetrack like Phoenix, that's a pretty decent number. And Philip Brewer, who led the most laps, coming up just a bit shy there in second. I'm sure he'll probably want another do-over there on that final restart to maybe make up a little bit more ground. But unfortunately, he comes up just a bit shy on the race here tonight. All right, well, I don't quite see. There we go. Let's pull up Keegan here. Actually, I think we should be able to get him. Yes, we should. Yeah, let's pull up Keegan. Keegan Sabilo, our race winner here tonight at Phoenix Raceway. And Keegan, boy, that was a crazy race from start to finish, but you're able to find yourself up front for a majority of that last half of the race. And I mean, that final restart, you were able to make the correct moves at the right time and find yourself leading to the white flag as they wrecked behind you. But boy, talk about that final restart and how you're able to make those moves through the field.
Yeah, we kind of threw two tires on it at the end. I just was hoping it would stick. First time on two tires in this car. It hung on pretty well, right? And yeah, just tried to hold outside. I believe coming out of two, seeing the 44 through a massive slide job, and he almost landed it on Curtis, and then just kind of got loose, and the top lane opened up, and I was able just to kind of get cleared down, and kind of the last lap just had a decent enough gap to bring it home and just ride around and cruise to the checkered flag. So happy to finally get one. Last week kind of stung, or 2 weeks ago kind of stung, coming that close to Daytona. But I mean, a great way to start the season. A second and a first, you can't complain about that.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about starting off the season strong, I mean, Daytona, you can't really predict there, and you're lucky enough to even finish that race half the time. But tonight, I mean, really, you made yourself known, and there's a lot of good drivers in here. 32 cars entering the race tonight. I mean, it wasn't like this one came easy to you there, but when you look at the bigger perspective and you think about what this win is going to do for you down the line, is this kind of something where you had expectations coming into tonight with maybe having a shot to win, or do you think really there was maybe some things that maybe went your way a little bit better that gave your chances a little bit higher to come out of here with the race win?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I'd have a shot. I wouldn't call myself the favorite. I do love this racetrack because of my short track background, but Justin and Kazi and Reese and many others. I mean, it's a very stout field. That always are contenders, and I've been fortunate enough to learn from all those guys, especially Justin. Mentoring me to be up at the top here. So I know they're always tough, and especially in long run races as well. They have a lot of pace and can really save the tires in the short run while going at a harder pace than me. So. All those guys are really strong. I know Justin kind of had some wheel problems tonight, and I feel like Kazi and Reese were honestly a little bit better than me in the short run with how tight I was kind of feeling compared to them as we started to get 10, 15 laps in the run. But I guess with the different tire strategy, it kind of just buried them back, and it was kind of too late at the end there. So, I definitely wouldn't say we were the favorite, but I think we had a shot for sure at a top five run, and kind of was just not right place, right time, but just made the right calls all night long and took advantage of the track position and made the most of it. So, really happy to have this. Hopefully, that'll put us up in a decent spot in points going into Coda next week.
Yeah, and you mentioned Coda. How are your road skills, and do you have that track as either a favorite for yourself, or are you one of the drivers that it's like, oh, it's a road course, here we go?
Yeah, I've had it circled actually for a long time. Coda is actually, I was thinking like Coda would probably be the chance of my first win, not tonight. So happy we got that to lead into Coda, maybe make it a little bit less stressful. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Coda. I've got a lot of great people in my corner that have been helping me learn road racing. Not only just specifically for this, but over the past few months, I really took a lot of time to work on my road course racing craft with Sam Burnett and Paul Hill and some other road guys that I've known and that have supported me. And we put a lot of time into really forming and shaping that craft, and it's come a long way. So I've definitely seen a lot of improvements on it. I know Kazi and Reese are both going to be very strong on road courses. So we'll see what we got. I haven't really ran against Reese on a road course in this car. I have with Kazi, and I know Kazi is very quick, so it's not going to be easy by any means, but I feel like with the work we've been putting in that a top 3 run definitely possible, and even a shot at the win is very, very possible. Just Coda's kind of going to depend on who can get the track position early and manage the tires and just withstand the pressure. Because hopefully it should be a good battle up front between multiple of us there, and not just one of us running away with it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this road course will play out with so many good names in the field. And like you mentioned, you're going to need to be able to be as mistake-free as possible. But before we let you go, focus on Coda for next week. Is there any shouts you'd like to give or any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I mean, first off, thank you to Justin, Kazi, Reese, and the One Sim guys, and all my teammates over there. It's always a pleasure getting to run with them. And like I kind of alluded to earlier, Justin has helped me out for a long time, and all those guys really have, just to make me the driver that I am, to be able to compete at these levels and believe in myself to make nights like this possible. So huge shout out to them. First, another thing from another league in the All Track Challenge I run before this, I ended up coming came close, but came up a little short in the championship race tonight by 2 points at 5 flags. But a huge thank you to Washer Games and Luke and all the people that support me over there to give me that opportunity to represent their brand and try and chase down a championship for them. But thank you to all the sponsors in the cars: Mac Tools, Keegan Spieler Racing, After Hours Restorations, Crawford Auto Repair, Team Need You, McAllister Cat, OE324, Stagger Media Co., Runnings Racing Designs, everybody who helps make this possible. Thank you to Bryce for putting on an incredible show and the whole admin team. It truly is. It's fun to get to come run over here. It's newer for me, only my second start, but I've had a blast so far. And thank you to you guys for putting on the broadcast. It's incredible to go back and look back at these. And lastly, thank you to all the fans that tuned in tonight. Hopefully, put on a show for them and encourage them to tune in to Coda next week. It's going to be a good one.
Alrighty, Keegan. Well, congrats again on the race win here tonight, and we look forward to maybe seeing you go back-to-back next week at Coda.
100%. Let's do it, man.
All right, that was Keegan Sabilo, our race winner here tonight at Phoenix Raceway. Able to get it done, make the right calls at the right time, having that speed as well on that final restart, and got it done in a great finish to the end of this one here tonight. Let's go ahead now and move on to our second place driver, Philip Brewer. Philip, coming home in that second position, and boy, Philip, you had a lot of speed out there tonight. You're able to lead, I think if I remember correctly, the most laps led here at the end of this thing, but just coming up a little bit shy on that final restart. We saw you trying to make the moves there into 1 and 2, but I think I would say, if I saw it correctly, maybe either getting loose or maybe having that nose push up just a bit. Either way, you lost a little bit of momentum. Is this a restart that you're going to probably want back and have a chance at a do-over if you could, or are you pleased with the second place?
I mean, I'll take a second. I had a terrible Daytona race, but I mean, I want the whole race back. And it started qualifying, I hit the wall, screwed up my quali, had to short pit the stage to get out front. And once I got out there, clean air was nice, but yeah, then it was just even more mistakes at the last restart because I knew I was going to send it in on them, and it was going to be a little hairy on exit. And then, yeah, I got loose, pinched down to 93, and the 77 just drove away.
Yeah, and you talk about getting loose, and I'm going to ask you this because you're one of the fastest cars out there tonight, but it seemed like from the race standpoint, it seemed like there was a little bit of struggles with corner entry a bit. Did you notice that as well? And if so, like, how were you able to overcome that compared to the rest of the guys around you?
I noticed it a little bit in practice. Like I'd get loose on entry, but I kind of got it dialed in the race. Like into 3, I feel like I really just had to point it down to the inside to not get loose. Just, kind of straight line break in there. And then into 1, I feel like you can just kind of send it in there. If you don't overcook it and hit the wall, you're fine.
Yeah, and that's what I think we saw some drivers do differently compared to you, over driving just a bit, getting to that outside wall. I know some guys are probably going to want to do over for at least turn 1 a bunch of times tonight, where we saw a lot of mistakes being made there. But when we go I mean, you mentioned Daytona not, being a race that you wanted to have go your way, but you look at the rest of these next couple of weeks. We have Coda next week, and then we head to, I believe, Atlanta after that, and then we head to North Wilkesboro. Are these tracks that you would say kind of fit into your sort of wheelhouse, or what do you think these next few weeks look like for you?
I mean, I like road course racing. Haven't raced Dakota West, but I mean, I'm confident in my road course skill. I know a top 10 at least there. And then, I mean, really, most of these tracks I feel good at. I've been racing this B-class car for like the last 3 or 4 seasons in various leagues, so I'm pretty in tune with it right now. I know it's going to be a struggle still for some really fast guys in here, but the main one I'm looking at is Michigan. I think I've won there the past 2 or 3 times I've gone there, and I feel like I always have really good speed there, so that should be a fun race.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. I think Michigan is probably going to be one of those tracks where we'll probably see a lot of moves going back and forth, being swapped out there, and the next couple of weeks is more going to be driver dependent rather than probably momentum based. But either way, I mean, we got a lot of good races coming up ahead of us. And Philip, I don't want to hold you up for too much longer, but I do want to let you have a chance to shout out any people that you like to give a shout out to, or any sponsors you like to thank.
Shout out to Bryce. I'm glad he gave me the invite to come over here. I like racing with him and everybody in Firestone. Shout out to you up in the booth. Daytona was a damn good broadcast, and excited to watch today. And then shout out to all the sponsors that helped this league run.
All righty, Philip. Well, thank you for taking a minute to speak with us here, and hopefully we can speak to you again next week. If not, then we will speak to you hopefully soon.
Hope so. Thanks.
That was Philip Brewer there in the 44, just coming up a bit shy at the end, but I mean, really a great showing there by him and his team. Again, just you heard him say a little bit of a slide there at the end, which kind of may have been the killer at the end from allowing him to have another shot at maybe making a move on Keegan Sabilo for the race win. But still, a great night there, and I think we'll probably see Philip in the victory lane a handful of times this season, if he can continue to put on the show that he's been doing and keep doing what he's been so good at. I know I've seen him race a handful of times, and definitely one of those drivers that you will have to be worried about here in this season. Now, the last driver that we have is going to be Reese Schaefer, who comes up in third. Reese, a little bit of a different strategy there for some of that race, which kind of got you off cycle, but you're able to make it work pretty well. Hung out inside the top 10 after losing a little bit of ground from that top 5 that you're running before that. But at the end, that caution kind of gave you the break that you needed to get back on the same strategy. I guess at the point in time, did you think that strategy was going to play out in your favor, or was that something where you're really just hoping that you could, see that caution like we saw there late in that race, and then maybe have a better shot at coming out with a race win?
Yeah, you're, 100% right. It was probably around we were around 70-ish, 80-ish, and me and Kazi decided to stay out, and a lot of people came in, and both of us as soon as we turned right, we're like, yeah, we'll stay out, and then we saw everybody go in behind us. We're like, oh, that's probably not a good thing, just because we knew how tough it would be to pass, and how people were struggling all race to pass, especially just burning up the right front and just not be able to, just being so tight. So we kind of just hung around, and I pitted on 104 because I had to. I had no fuel left because I hadn't pitted since 35 or maybe 50, whatever it was. And then of course caution comes out, and we're stuck a lap down, and we get the lap back where we're like I think it was P12 on that restart, and I got to P9, and then with at 133 or so, the caution came out, and we finally get back, like you said, get back on the race strategy. And I took 4 tires. I took 2 early in the race, and it was good, but it just wasn't amazing. I wasn't thrilled with it, so I took 4, and Kazi and a bunch of other guys took 2, and so I restarted, I think, P14 with the 3 or 4 to go, and then again there was a massive wreck, and I got up to P, I want to say 8 or 9, and then I think it was 8, and then we went green the rest of the way there, and I was able to get all the way up to P3. It was only about a bumper away from P2, so was honestly an astonishing comeback. I thought my pace was okay. When I took 2 tires in the first run on lap, I think it was 35. When I took 2 tires, I was really just trying to jump and get in the lead and get some clean air on the nose. I figured if I get some clean air on the nose and really dictate the race, I could have really made some hay, but wasn't able to get past Brewer. That he was fending me off pretty good, and so I was stuck in P2. And then of course the new tires started coming, and we had more cautions. So all in all, really wish I would have got my nose up front a little bit longer, but from being P14 on lap 134 and walking away P3 on lap 140 is honestly amazing. So was definitely an interesting race. I wish, like I said, I wish the step was maybe a little bit looser coming on the corner and made it a little bit easier, but Phoenix has always been a hard track to pass, no matter what car, what horsepower, what version of the sim that we're in. So all in all, the fact that we walked away P3 after kind of shaky strategy call was really, really good, and really well needed points today after a rough week at Daytona.
Yeah, and I was going to mention actually the Daytona finish for you was 20. You were scored with the 25th position at the end of it, and yeah, it's Daytona, but I'm sure you probably had a little bit better hopeful coming out of that race. But either way, I mean, a great bounce back to come here in the third tonight, and I know, we know how many championships you have under the belt here in this series, so we're not really concerned about maybe some of these races ahead for you. But I think you would agree that there is definitely a little bit tighter of a competition here for this season, especially going for those first couple of points towards the top of the standings. Does that really make a big difference on what you have to make for strategy calls during the race, or do you really just keep doing what has won you so many championships so far?
That's a great question. I would say so far I'm gonna keep doing what I've always been doing, just letting the race come to me and trying to figure out the Xfinity car. It's probably been, maybe 5 or 6 years since I've ran a league race with the Xfinity car, let alone the 10% added horsepower. So it's one of the, I've always joked about, well, I guess it's the O'Reilly car, but I've always joked about the B car. No matter what track you're at and what setup you have, the car always sucks, but you're just trying to tame it best so it doesn't suck, that sucks the least kind of thing. So it's always been a car that, I think the only time I've ever had a great setup for the B car was back in the day during COVID, when it was at the plate tracks. The plate racing was phenomenal in the B car back in the day, probably 2018, 2019 COVID era. But other than that, if you go to road courses, Mount of Halves, even the short track tonight, the car sucked. But that's just the way it is, and it makes for good racing, and it makes for really, really critical strategy calls, especially with the track position, just because it's so hard to pass. And so I was just trying to learn from the season, try to make on stuff, and I know we had 14 cautions tonight, but I know, and it probably was for you a little bit harder to announce and broadcast, but me and you both know, once we get the road courses at a great time coming next week, especially with the no cautions, and that'll really calm everything down. And then weeks 4 and 5 will really get to the heart of the season really going, and we'll really ramp down the caution numbers and get some great racing. So I'm looking forward to really learning from those weeks, past the road course week, and just really get to know the competition. And what's good about the competition is, Keegan and Sheldon, Colby, and a bunch of even Brewery. I mean, a bunch of the fast guys. You know, I've seen their names around, and I know most of them. And competition's good, and what makes you better. So even though you know, the championship odds are definitely decreased just because the sheer number of people. That doesn't mean you know, we're not going for it, or we don't think we have a shot at it. It's more just you know, you gotta have some timely wins, especially in the playoffs. So yeah, so far we're just gonna take it nice and easy and just let the race come to us and let the car come to us and try to learn as much as we can before the postseason later down the road in December and January.
Well, we like the sounds of that racing, especially coming from a driver who has won just about every championship in this league so far, minus last season. I mean, we you know, obviously the tables are going to be all turned towards you in your direction and seeing if you can win another one here. But before we let you go, is there any shots you'd like to give or any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Oscar. I'd like to thank Mid-Michigan Milk Producer Association. They're always in the car, and I love repping them and tributing my dad and my grandpa Jack. And I want to thank my grandpa and my girlfriend Emily and the family, sister, cousins, everybody that tunes into these races and just tries to watch as much as they can and watch it back as much as they can. And I always love to support it. You know, it's truly amazing. You know, when you have everybody behind you, between your family, your friends, and everybody here in the league, it makes it so much fun to load up every night and just race, and no matter the outcome. You know, what's funny is, you know, we were talking about, you know, the Daytona finish at the, and I obviously I threw a bad block in Kazi and wrecked myself, and it was a whole deal. But man, I tell you, it was, even though I finished 25th and was literally spinning around around the backstretch at the last lap and could not get the car to keep going forward because I was so broken. That race was so much fun. I had such a blast, and that's just a tribute to the community we got here and all the guys that race in this league. It's even when you get wrecked, it's fun, and so that's the way it should be. It's the reason we do this is because we all love it, and really looking forward to Coda next week. Hopefully, we'll see how the road course comp is next week, but it's probably gonna be pretty awesome. Probably gonna be between me, Kazi, Keegan, and Justin, and but like I said, I have no idea how some of these guys stack up on the road course. We might have some hidden gems out there, so looking forward to see where everybody stacks up, and hopefully gonna put on a good show for you next week, Oscar, and yeah, hopefully we'll be talking to you then.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Dakota and seeing who we can point out as maybe some of our road course ringers for this season. But Reese, thank you for taking a minute to speak with us here, and like you said, hopefully we can speak to you again next week at the end of the race at Coda.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Oscar. I'm excited to finally get all these off weeks out of the way and get some, you know, some week after week racing and get the routine going here, and hopefully before the end of the playoffs, we'll be talking to you. So.
Alrighty, Reese. Well, congrats on the third place again, and yes, I'm no doubt that we'll probably be speaking to you again here within these next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Thanks, Oscar. Have a great night.
That was Reese Schaefer, a third place driver, and boy, you know, you heard from Reese. Even though Daytona can be a little bit wild, I mean, the importance of having a good sort of batch and field of drivers is that you can still come out here and have fun, even on nights like tonight where you may see, you know, a fair bit of craziness going on at the start of the races. It's important to be able to come out and come back to the series each week and, you know, enjoy running in it and, you know, keep wanting to come back. And I think Reese said it perfectly, is this is like the first real testament to what drivers are going to be expecting from one another. And, you know, obviously there is some mistakes here and there from certain drivers, but it wasn't like anything over the top. And again, it's just those small little things where these drivers are going to start to learn each other more and more. And I think Reese said it perfectly right there as well, as you really won't get to see probably the best of the drivers here until we get to probably North Wilkesboro and Michigan, maybe even Atlanta as well. And, you know, these guys, they just got to spend a little bit more time at some of these tracks together. And I think that's when we will see a lot of these guys start to loosen up a bit and maybe, you know, have some of these cautions go from the double digits, maybe even probably like 2 or 3, maybe even less, depending on what track we go to. And I know each one of these drivers in here is very capable at putting on a good show for us. So we'll have a good one in store for us next week at Circuit of the Americas. Again, that'll be right here on TurnSector Media. But before we go anywhere else, folks, let's go ahead and go down tonight's results. Keegan Sabilo with the race win. Philip Brewer coming up just a bit shy there in second. Reese Schaefer, who we just talked to a moment ago, he will finish in third. Curtis White, after leading there on that last restart, he will come up in fourth. And Derek Garrison running up the top 5. So a good run there by Derek. Christopher Hodges, Nick Osipek, a great finish there inside the top 10. He will finish 7th. Joseph Kazi, Bryce Shoemaker, Trevor Brownlee, your top 10. Justin Day, Justin Levine, Max Service, Jordan Troston, Judson Curtis will be your top 15 drivers. Going on to the next set of drivers, we'll go to Carson Neal. Last week's Daytona winner, Colby Jackson, who had those issues and had to come down pit road to get that car repaired. He finishes in 17th. Ian Blanchard, Rob Hampton, Sheldon Atkins will finish in 20th. Going on to the next set here, we go down to Thomas Stokes, who had a rough night. Got in a few incidents there. He will finish 21st, the last driver on the lead lap. Go Jim Foskett, Kyra Mullaney, Aaron Kay, Patrick Firmerl, Chuck Sweeting, Keith Shoemaker, Jordan Berry, Reese Hamilton, who was going to have a pretty decent night running inside the top 10. Unfortunately, got caught up in a wreck there towards the end of this race, and he finishes 29th. Max Cost finishing 73 laps down there in 30th position. Then our last couple of drivers will be Chase Gavin and then Nick Jezebowski in that 82, finishing in 31st position. Well, like we said, folks, Circuit of the Americas the next week here on TurnSector Media for the Reps by JB Premier Series. Tonight was a big race, and I think a lot of drivers may be coming out with a finish better than what they had at Daytona. And you know, although we are so early in this season, only 2 races in, so a lot left to look forward to this season. And again, the first road course early on in this season, we'll get that kicked out the way. Then we'll head to Atlanta that following week, so make sure you guys stay tuned in. And again, I just want to say a big thank you to all you guys tuning in. And if you guys wouldn't mind checking us out on social media, the links are in the bio, especially Facebook. We're trying to get 100 followers on there so that we can go live on Facebook weekly. Once again, though, I am Oscar Jensen here with TurnSector Media. Thank you guys for tuning in here tonight, and we'll hopefully see you guys back again next week for the Raps by JB Premier Series.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We're gonna play chess while all these other boys are playing checkers.
Let's get as many points as we can. It all starts right here. Be ready?
And the green flag is in the air. Here they come, storming to turn one.
This is incredible! Can he get it done?